It's great to be with you. I'm from the First District, Oklahoma, as you know, and some of your viewers know. We were together not too long ago together talking about the waste and what we're doing. And before I came to Congress, I spent over 33 years in business, and 10 of those included owning a hog farm. So I had about 3,600 head of hogs. So I've actually seen what pigs look like, and as they grow and they continue to get fatter and fatter. And actually, it was part of my campaign opportunities as well to talk about pigs eating at the trough, and I see this a lot, and it's really kind of troubling to see what's going on here. And over those 33 years, I was responsible for a lot of lives, employees that had to go home and take care of their families, and I had to make budgets and stick to them, and control the spending. And every American family has to do the same. But for years, the federal government's operated with under a budget, but then go do crazy appropriation processes. And I vowed to do everything I could when I came here to keep my promise to get us back on the right appropriations, getting those done so we don't have this crazy spending at the end of the day. But when you look at what's going on, every year there's a bill that's bigger than the last. It's almost like that's the goal, is to make the spending bill bigger than last year's, and there's no restraint. We all talk about it up here, about how we got to do things better and we got to be more responsible, but we're not doing that. And the American people are absolutely frustrated. We always hear the thing, the tax man cometh. I've had so many meetings up here where that this is the debt is real, the deficits are real. But I'll tell you, it's not just Democrats, though. It's Republicans and Democrats. My colleague, Ted Budd, mentioned Tom Coburn. Dr. Coburn, he passed away last year, but he was the person that got me involved in politics. So long before I ran, I knew what this was about. And that's why I ran on this idea, because I just kept seeing things get worse and worse and worse. And he led the charge on getting rid of earmarks. And, unfortunately, they're back. And this is not what we need to be seeing happen in America. What we know right now, there's a big movement by the progressives on the left talking about the modern monetary theory. That's the idea that the federal government can spend as much as it wants because it can just print money. And while I've talked to Fed Chairman Powell about that, and he doesn't believe in MMT, you would see right now that his actions are actually demonstrating that. And, so I will tell you and tell the American people that deficits matter, spending more than we take in every year, the debt matters. It matters to everybody in America. It matters to individuals. It matters to families, to counties, communities, and to states. The only place that it doesn't matter, apparently, is at the United States government. And we all have a responsibility of this to make sure that our country remains the world's top superpower. And what we're seeing right now, where many people are underestimating China's ambitions, and to do so would be arrogant and naive. And as you mentioned, what we're seeing right now with the Republicans on a 102 to 84 vote, allowing that earmarks to come back in. Now, I will tell you, everybody in Congress, I believe, has sort of released the power of the purse to the administration, to the executive branch. We do need to rein that back in, but this is not the way to do that. We can do it through policies, not through this process of just allowing us the pork belly spend on some of these things. So, when we look at what's going on, I'm just worried that the ramifications are going to be so bad for all of us that one day that we're all going to have to end up with this, this changing of our currency and really just have lived an austere measure. We see this with every great nation. It happens. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate what you're doing with the 2021 Pig Book, this exposure of the 285 instances of earmarks in 2020 that cost the American taxpayers almost $17 billion. And, so we have to do a better job of this, buying each other off. I mean, that's what's going on with these earmarks. It's very concerning right now with what we're seeing going on in the Senate. Right now, a lot of these crazy policies that we're seeing right now are being upheld by Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema. And with earmarks, they could go offer them some, favor in their districts and get them to change their vote. And that's not what it's about. So I think that's why it's so important for organizations like you, Citizens Against Government Waste, to hold us accountable and shine a light on these. Like you said, it's very important to the American people. It polls very high. They want to know what's going on with their government. And I think we all have to take ownership and be fiscally responsible. So to that end, I'm leading the Budget and Spending Task Force with the Republican Study Committee. I expect we'll be the only ones that produce a budget next month for this upcoming fiscal year. And in that budget, we're mandating a 1% cut across the entire federal government. It will balance in less than 10 years. I think that's an essential step. We can't have these budgets that just go on and on and on. So I know we're talking about fiscal responsibility, but we're actually going to show that and demonstrate that across the board in our budget. And so stay tuned for what you see there. We look forward to getting that out for the American people. And I just want to say thank you so much for what you do. It's very, very important.